struggling to fill some turkey tags this season? Did you maybe go out there opening day and it was easy peasy and you get her done and fill one of your early season gobbler tags just like that, like they split? Maybe you have some tags burning a hole in your pocket. Well, in this live stream, I'm going to, yeah, I'm stop tongue tied, lost for words. That's going to be my signature thing right there. That's going to make me go famous. That being tongue tied and lost for words. I'm an idiot. I'm a fool, full of energy, full of piss and vinegar. Let's get that on the tripod, shall we? Oh, did I have a light go out? Anyways, how's everybody doing tonight? So, yeah, as the title implies, late season turkey hunting tactics, strategies, if you will. I'm going to share with you personal, real life experiences I've had using these strategies, tactics, approaches, if you will, however you want to maybe word it, to be successful in killing old, mature gobblers, 3+ year old, 4 or 5-year-old gobblers midway through the season towards late season when the breeding season kind of wound down. The adult hens were going to nest, and like the hens were becoming scarce, and the gobblers were lost, kind of stranded without girlfriends, and it causing the gobblers to group back up. How many of you have noticed that, witnessed that in your years of turkey hunting? That when the breeding, the phases that these turkeys go through, the turkey flocks go through phases like through the year. And the breeding season can be thought of as like a graph or chart, goes through phases, right? And how many of you have seen this yourself? And I've seen it time and time again through all the many eons and years of turkey hunting. I've seen that the gobblers will group back up. That where once, so this is part of the phases, the changing of the breeding season, going through the phases. Early in the breeding season, the gobblers are like fighting, sparring. They're establishing, for better lack of words, a pecking order. Everyone's heard that the pecking order that the turkeys established, that the gobblers established among themselves. And what's going on is your older, more mature gobblers and your younger gobblers and even your jakes, they're sparring, fighting, they're hitting each other with the wings, jumping up on one another, spurring one another. They're doing the fighting purring, and they're batting each other, jumping up on each other, spurring each other. They're doing this early in the season. I've seen this firsthand and have been able to film this, document this firsthand early, like from opening day, the first day of the Maine's Northeastern Wild Turkey Hunt. I've been able to witness with my ugly, big blue eyes and have been able to document it with my video camera, the gobblers establishing this pecking order. We all hear about it, read about it, listen to it on podcasts. How many of you have actually been able to witness it with your own eyes and be able to film it? I have, and it's so freaking cool, man. And I saw and filmed big old 4+ year old gobblers thrash and spur younger subordinate gobblers that went on to probably be satellite gobblers. Those loners that got beat up time and time again and kind of pushed away and are like loners and are without hens. Those are the easiest to call in and kill. So a lot of times it's your jakes on up to like 3-year-old gobblers. So a lot of times 1 to 3-year-old gobblers could be loners, could be like satellite gobblers, just roaming the home range, the woods without hens, hoping for companionship, hoping to find a hen. And those are the ones that will come rushing right into your hen call. You're yelping and cutting and yelping, and they're the easiest ones to kill. It's those big, older, mature, bossy gobblers that while during that fight, the fighting and establishing the pecking order, they kind of win the breeding rights, if you will, and it's them ones that the hens see are more fit to breed. The hens pretty much have the show here. When it comes to breeding, no different than within the whitetail world, the does are the does are the boss of the breeding. The does run the show when it comes to breeding. The does they pick a suitor that's fit and more they no different than hens. The hens, they want a gobbler. That obviously why the gobblers are out there strutting. They're putting on their display, fanning out their fans, showing their beautiful colors, the big red heads. And the hens, they're looking for a suitable suitor, a fit gobbler that may spread more healthy genes, more healthy genetics. A real fit, strong, bossy, guttural gobbling, a gobble that sounds more mature to a hen, a gobbler that looks heavier, bigger, stronger, and seems more bossy, seems more fit to the hens. The hens are going to go to that one, go to a gobbler like that, and then eventually that gobbler, that boss gobbler, is going to have a harem of hens, a big group of hens. The gobbler I killed just the other day, 5 hens come in with him behind them. It was a waiting game, patience game, waiting game. I had to mimic the hen talk. Whatever they were saying, I mimicked back, and then they got louder. I got louder. They cutted and yelped. I cut and yelped, and so forth. They did a 3-note yelp. I did a 3-note yelp. I mimicked them, and I was challenging the hens, and it pulled them girls right in to within 20 yards of me, and that strutting Tom behind them, 50 yards, 30 yards behind them, eventually worked his way in, spitting and drumming, and I was able to kill that gobbler by me mimicking and challenging the hens. He had 5 hens with him. So, but that's a phase that's kind of dwindling right now. Here we are in the are we at the end of the second midway point of the Maine's northeastern wild turkey hunt. We're towards the last of the end of the second week. We're midway in the season. The northeastern wild turkey breeding season has kind of come to a slow a slow phase. Started out with surgence with a gobbler establishing a pecking order to figure out the breeding right, who would win the breeding rights, or with hen who would be able to have the rights to breeding all the hens in the area. And then you had gobblers spread out all over the landscape. How many of you have seen this, witnessed this, going out into your turkey hunting woods, have located your gobbler, put some gobblers to bed, and you knew your whereabouts of the big, older, mature gobblers that you wanted to hunt. But how many of you have listened, paid attention closely to all the other gobblers around you in the surrounding area? If you've been at it long enough, like I have been turkey hunting long enough, you you quickly right away learn that the big, older, mature, bossy gobbler, that the other gobblers, the satellite gobblers, the younger subordinate gobblers don't want anything to do with him. It might have biologically something to do with that gobble that he lets out. Obviously the fighting that took place earlier in the spring, and just probably what he's saying with that more boisterous, guttural, deeper gobble with that nice trill at the end that might be signaling to those other gobblers to not go anywhere near his domain, his strutting zones, or his area, his roosting area, and where he has his hens. And we've all heard like the other gobblers in the distance gobble this way, gobble that way, gobble here. We've heard all the other gobblers at one time or another, but we obviously have our heart set on that big, bossy, mature, older Tom. And then eventually, when we match wits with him, we become the ultimate predator, and we outsmart him and kill him, get that big, bossy, mature gobbler out of the mix. Then all of a sudden, the younger, more subordinate gobblers start showing up a little more, start coming to see, come and investigate and try to find companionship, hook up with hens. And so, as the title implies in this live stream, so Team Quack Tack says, that is true. A big gobbler will make others stop gobbling a lot of the time. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for chiming in. So everyone give Team Quack Tack a hello, a thumbs up. He's backing me up on this now. And obviously, if a lot of you listen to podcasts like the Southern Outdoorsman Hunting Podcast or the Hunting Public Podcast, or watch, let's see, all of them guys. There's a lot of podcasts and YouTube channels that we can watch that back up this. And obviously, I've learned this firsthand hunting experience. I've seen this stuff, witnessed all this. Everything I'm sharing with you tonight in this live stream, I've personally witnessed and documented on camera, and I've just seen by being out there, by developing my woodsmanship skills, by putting boot leather on the ground, scouting and listening, watching, observing, just hunting for many eons. The breeding phase, okay, right now, we're about towards the end of the breeding phase, to the point where like the older hens have almost all laid all their eggs. Every now and then a hunter might see a lone old big hen off by herself in a pasture field or in a woods clearing feeding. She has a nest somewhere nearby. She's laying her eggs. She has not yet probably laid all of her eggs. They don't incubate for 28 days straight until all eggs are laid. They could lay 8 eggs, 12 eggs, 14 eggs, anywhere from 8 to 14 or more eggs in a clutch. Their clutch of eggs, once they're all laid, those hens will go stick with that nest for 28 days straight. They may get up to stretch their legs and defecate, feed a little bit, just immediately right around their nest, but they'll quickly go back to incubating those eggs. They'll stay right with those eggs for 28 days straight. And then the hens become obsolete on the landscape all of a sudden. And the gobblers aren't seeing and hearing the hens. The hens aren't vocalizing to the gobblers saying, I'm ready, I want you now. The hens aren't doing that breeding, that sexy squeal that they make that screams to the gobbler, okay, I'm ready. How many of you know that call? This is a call that can be dynamite right now, midway through a turkey hunt season, late season. How many of you know Dale Outdoors? Dale Outdoors, world-renowned like turkey hunter, a turkey hunting educator for 30 plus years. He swears by the squeal. That squeal. I have a call. Oh, it's out in the shed. I have the hen squeal call that I think Hunter Specialties made. Hunter Specialties made this call. You can mimic that breeding squeal that a hen will make when she's either being mounted by a gobbler or she's like ready to breed now. She'll squeal and cluck, squeal and cluck. And Dale Outdoors talks about this call and tactic for like late season, because it really changes the tune of the gobbler. It gets the gobbler, it puts him, it pretty much fires up those breeding instincts in that gobbler. Gets that gobbler all, tickled to death, and he'll come rushing right in. And so this is a call, good late season call. Let's see, to use that squeal. How many of you have heard of it and know about it? I have that squeal call in one of my turkey hunting vests. I haven't yet used it with success. I've used it, tried it, but I haven't had to really resort to the squeal, the hen breeding squeal that Dale Outdoors swears by. And Dale himself doesn't use it all that often, but it's a great call to have in your bag of tricks for this time of year in the late season, when the gobblers are tight beaked, not gobbling much, not vocalizing. It's hard to really find the gobblers and get on the gobblers, late season gobblers. And it becomes more of a patience game, becomes more of a boring hunt, because you're not getting the gobbling and the shot gobbling, and you might get one gobble and like all morning. But that squeal call, that breeding, that call that signals to that gobbler, there's a hen ready to breed or being mounted by another gobbler. Right now, it could get that gobbler rushing right in. How many of you heard of that squeal call, that breeding squeal? Let's see, we've got, I've already gave a shout out to Team Quack Attack. Everyone say hi to Team Quack Attack. And then we've got on here Joe Dutiel. He had this, Joe that shot the double beard. Joe Dutiel. Hey, bud, this is the guy. Yes. Everyone say hi to Joe. And Joe, I have the laptop right here, ready to go. I'm going to be getting the email up shortly with your photo and your story, Joe. So everyone say hi to Joe. Joe, don't go anywhere. I'm going to be sharing Joe Dutiel's success story shortly here and showing his photos. I think I screwed up my light. I feel like that light was right up my butt crack. I'm a crazy quack, aren't I? I'm just trying to gobble. Is that it? I'm a crazy kook. Okay, Team Quack Attack says, hi, Joe. Oh, Team Quack Attack still here. Yes. I want everyone that's with us right now not to go anywhere. I'm going to be sharing Joe Dutiel's success story and showing his photo. And Joe's going to chime in the chat, maybe share some more details that he may have forgot in the email. I'll be getting to that shortly, but back to the late season strategies. Yeah, so the breeding phase, we're at the point now where if you guys are just joining and you didn't quite hear everything I said about the hens going to nest and how like the hens are all of a sudden obsolete off the landscape. The older hens, those that are incubating nests right now, there's still that chance that some of the clutches are going to fail if we're still having those like morning frost, those really cold frigid nights, a lot of rain. We're still getting tons and tons of moisture, a lot of rain, a lot of cold. Some of these clutches could fail, and then all of a sudden, these hens that we were seeing on the landscape, and these hens that were vocalizing and getting them gobblers fired up all morning, gobbling their heads off, and all of a sudden, some of these hens may be back on the landscape, starting to cut and yelp, starting to try to breed again a second time for the gobbler to go nest again a second time. When their nests fail, they can re-nest, but each time that they re-nest, they're only laying half the amount of eggs they laid the previous time. So if they laid like 12 or 14 eggs this time and that clutch failed, all eggs failed, that hen may go on to only lay like 6 to 8 eggs the second time. But this time right now that's going on. Even in Maine, we're midway through the Maine's turkey hunting season, and hunting's become all of a sudden what was kind of seemed somewhat easy as far as calling in turkey. I noticed in the first week it was extremely easy to call in hens. Hens were extremely vocal, and I was mimicking what they were doing, and they were getting loud. They were cutting and yelping real loud, and I was cutting and yelping real loud back. I was challenging the hens, and the hens were just coming right in on a string and circling my hen decoy and ruffling their feathers and pecking my hen decoy, while the strutter, the gobbler, was just hanging out there at 40, 50 yards, spitting and drumming, and while this hen's attacking my hen decoy. So it just seems so easy to call in the turkey in the first week. Now all of a sudden I'm not hearing the gobbles as much. The gobbling's gone way down. Hearing the hens on the landscape has settled down. Not hearing a lot of hen vocalization. Not hearing and seeing hens feeding, grazing around. All of a sudden, the turkey hunting has become a little tougher. It's become a patience game, and so really, it would behoove you, be very helpful to all turkey hunters to really learn their turkey hunting woods. If hopefully you've done your homework years ago, a long time ago, and thoroughly scouted all your turkey hunting grounds, and have really painted a picture for yourself. Like Turkey use the same general travel routes year after year, for the same reasons. Turkey use the same travel routes for their dust bathing, they use the same feeding areas for their scratching in the leaves and feeding, grazing, looking for nuts, hard masts, and they use the same fields and woods clearings and clear cuts and same logging roads, power lines year after year after year for the same reasons, for nesting, for raising their poults, for feeding, for the gobblers use the same areas year after year for strutting, for strut zones, because those areas, those strut zones that you've found in your hunting grounds, they provide some shade. The gobbler can be there strutting, fanned out, displaying, and be seen and visibly seen by hens. He can be heard well. He can hear well. It could be a knoll, kind of a high point in your hunting area that's shaded very well. That's easy to travel through. An area where you could see long distance. There could be an area like that that's kind of a strut zone with natural turkey travel ways, highways coming and going from these strut zones. You want to take note of all of this now, and hopefully you already have years ago, because turkey, gobblers, and hens are going to be going right back to those same general areas, spring after spring after spring, year after year after year, to use them areas for the same reasons as why turkey are frequenting certain areas of your hunting grounds. It's because they like everything about that. They have everything they need. They have loafing areas where they can get out of the heat, where there might be some stream bottoms or river bottoms or some swamp, wetland areas with canopy overhead for shade, and where like the temperature drops 10-20 degrees near the water, where it's just cooler, shaded, plenty of bugs to eat, plenty of browse, plenty of broad-leaved herbaceous vegetation, your forby type vegetation, plenty to eat, cool. The hens are there. Hens are using that area. Hence, the gobblers are going to be there in those loafing areas. Then, obviously, your strut zones those morning strut zones are going to be up on those maybe hardwood ridges or those high points where it's visible, where the gobbler can hear well, where he can be spotted, seen by hens. The hens can hear him gobbling, and so forth. So you just got to really learn all of this about your hunting area. Find those dust bath bathing areas. Find those travel routes that have gobbler and hen tracks and gobbler and hen scat coming and going in all directions. And find those areas where they scratch up in the woods doing their scratching, looking for food, and find where they feed, where they frequently feed, and find those strut zones, those areas, those logging roads, trails, field edges, clear cut edges, little knolls, high points, and clear cuts where gobblers frequently go to gobble and strut and fan out and drag their wingtips. Look for the drag marks from the strutting gobblers. Piece all the pieces of the puzzles together. Figure all this out now. Hopefully you already did. Hopefully this is old news to all of you and you've already done all this and you just know these areas that these gobblers and hens are going to frequent this spring during your spring turkey hunting season. So when it comes late season, when all of a sudden those hens they've gone to nest, incubate, and they're gone off the landscape, the gobblers aren't gobbling as much. It it could be very useful to go just sit, if you know where there's a dust bowl area, dust bath type area, where the turkey go to shake their wings in the dirt and loose dirt, and water and shake their body, roll around, and flap their wings to stir up the dust in their feathers to help rid themselves of mites and stuff. So forth. If you know an area like that, that could be a good spot to go to sit up in a blind or sit back in the dark shadows and wait. Just periodically, every half hour, we do some covert calls, some very light clucks, and 2-3 note yelps. And then maybe do that a couple times and just be quiet for 20-30 minutes and then do another covert call in sequence. Don't call too loudly and too often. And it's a waiting game. You could be sitting there for 4 to 6 or more hours before hens start maybe coming in to the dust bath, pulling a late season gobbler with her. The hen that's going to be coming most likely is going to be a younger hen, not a hen that went to nest. Those hens that we know as jennies, those 1.5-year-old. We have jakes on the landscape, right? There's always 1.5-year-old jakes running around. So is there hens. There's younger hens. Your younger hens are still roaming around and catching the attention of late season gobblers. That lone Jenny hen could come into that dust bath to shake the dust, get on her feathers, and in behind her could be a late season gobbler, and you could fill a late season gobbler tag just like that. That's one area. Let's see. Just knowing for a fact, knowing for certainty where turkey always travel day in and day out, almost daily. If you know such an area where hens and gobblers travel through back and forth either direction every single day, if you know such a spot, go there. Do your ambush there, and do your waiting game. Wait it out and periodically do a calling sequence, a light covert calling sequence every 20-30 minutes in a spot like that. And a lot of times those type of areas are like pinch point, bottleneck, funnel like areas. I killed my gobbler, my first of 2 gobblers that I can legally shoot this spring. I killed my first of this 2026 Maine's turkey hunting season doing just such a thing, setting up my blind right on this pinch point bottleneck area on this logging road, this dirt road where that turkey constantly travel every day. I just know that gobblers and hens, just from seeing their signs, drag marks from strutting gobblers, seeing hen and gobbler tracks come and go in both directions, and and seeing this time and time again, year after year after year, spring after spring after spring. I've killed like 8 or more gobblers in this exact spot the last 8 to 10 plus years hunting here. They always kind of funnel themselves through this spot. So that's a place like that is great to set up late season and just wait it out, knowing that turkey frequently come through there, and you could kill a late season gobbler that way. And then obviously, if you're not the patient type, a late season hunting tactic and approach for those that aren't patient, aren't willing to sit like all day for a gobbler, that it's very useful to to think back in your memory bank to okay, really, it's like if you study thoroughly your hunting property, the areas you hunt. Okay, where did I see that strutter with that hen last spring at 9 o'clock? Okay, at 9 o'clock, the strutter. I seen the strutter about 150 yards over here with a hen going through there. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, what time is it? Oh, it's almost 9 now. Oh man, I better beeline it for that tree right there in the dark shadow and set up and then do some just some 2-note yelps, some real light clucking. Maybe do that, or some light cold calling, and just sit there and see if maybe one's nearby. Okay, and that could work for a running gunner, someone that's not patient but is still trying to kill a late season gobbler. Just knowing, just from history, from previous years, knowing where you've seen and maybe heard that one lone gobble, and maybe seen strutters with a lone hen. It could be 10. Maybe it was 10 o'clock. Maybe there's another area on the property you're hunting where you've seen and heard a gobble, or seen strutter with hen, or seen gobbler, maybe even a group of gobblers. Like late season gobblers are known to sometimes like group back up. They start tolerating each other a little now later in the season, because eventually they're going to have to be buddies anyway. Come fall and winter, you got your gobbler flocks and you got your hen flock. The hens flock together, the gobblers flock together. But when it comes downright breeding time, the pecking order has been established, obviously. But later in the season, it seems like the gobblers, they start tolerating one another a little bit more, and they start all of a sudden hunters are starting to see 2 and 3 gobblers traveling together, like older gobblers too. 2 and 3-year-old gobblers traveling together, even maybe with a jake or two, or a couple jakes, or some couple jakes, 2 older gobblers traveling together late season. So where did you, if you're not the patient type, where have you seen at this time in the turkey hunting season at 10 o'clock in the morning, where have you seen gobblers before on the property? And think of all this in your memory. Where at 11 and noon did you see gobblers loafing and up in the shade underneath the pines and down near stream bottom or somewhere where it's cool and shady? Where did you see them at 9, 10, 11? Just knowing the history of knowing your hunting history, knowing from years past where you've seen turkey doing what turkey do at different times of the day. That could help the run and gunner type, the non-patient hunter. There's 2 types of turkey hunters out there. There's the patient, downright patient hunter. That's me. I could sit all day for a gobble. And then there's the non-patient type, the run and gun only, the one that wants to put on the miles and just try to strike up a gobble, to get a shot gobble, to try to move in on gobbler. But right now, late in the season, you're not hearing so much gobbling. So it might behoove a run and gunner, the non-patient type, to just go to an area where they've, in years past, seen gobbler activity and try calling a little bit and waiting a half hour to an hour plus. I recommend the non-patient hunter, turkey hunter, to still at least after their last call, the last call in sequence that you make, before you decide to move, I recommend you sit tight for at least minimally 2 hours. Give that spot 2 hours, after the last call, before you get up and decide to move to a new location. Because that gobbler it could be more than one gobbler coming in quietly and silently. There hasn't been any reason for them to gobble much. The hens are nesting, incubating. The breeding has slowed way down. Those gobblers could come in completely silent. You you may eventually, after being quiet for an hour. I've done this time and time again through the years. I've had this experience myself where after the last call, where I decided to stop calling altogether, because I figured, okay, if nothing shows within an hour or two, I'm going to pack up and move to a new area to set up and do some calling. Be patient for a while, for a couple hours. And I've many times, after an hour of being silent after my last call, I've heard one lone gobble and fairly close, and it's gotten the blood just a boiling. And then moments later, here comes the gobblers. I've had as many as 7 gobblers. This happened last year. Just last year, I had 7 gobblers come in front of me, and I looked for one with a long beard, like a 10-inch rope on him, tried to find a big old one, picked one out of the bunch, out of the 7, and killed him. And I only ever heard like 3 gobbles altogether total from one gobbler of the 7. None of the other gobblers ever gobbled. I thought it was just one male gobbler turkey coming in the whole time. But after my last call that day, and it took 6 hours, by the way, before these 7 gobblers come in and before I killed one of them. It was a 6-hour sit. And after my last call, I was periodically covert calling, just doing some light yelps, 2-3 note yelps, a little clucking, just some covert calling. And eventually, a couple hours into some periodic calling sequences and stuff, a couple hours in, I did hear one lone gobble way behind me. And I waited for like a few minutes before doing some more covert calling. I did some little calling again, and waited quietly, and moments later heard the gobble again, this time a little closer to my left. So then now I thought, okay, he's coming. And so I stayed quiet, and I just waited for him to gobble all on his own. I didn't call anymore. I already knew that he heard my calls. He gobbled. And then I waited for him to gobble on his own, and eventually he did. This time he was even closer. So then I knew right then I didn't have to call again. I knew I just had to be patient, wait him out. And eventually in comes 7 gobblers, and I shot one of them. So the late season hunting is all just a patience game. Wait a moment. Okay, let's get to the story, the success. Let's talk about Joe Dutiel's success story. Anyone have any questions about late season turkey hunting tactics or approach? I'll touch on a few more things. I'll actually end the live stream probably a little bit later after sharing Joe Dutiel's success story. I'll share one of my success stories where I was successful late season, like third. I actually, believe it or not, while I'm bringing up my email to bring up the story that Joe Dutiel shared with me in his photo, I have actually been extremely successful. Excuse me. Sorry for the burp. I've been extremely successful at killing late season gobblers third week into the beginning of the fourth week of the season, year after year after year. I might fill one of my 2 spring turkey tags early the first week. A lot of times it takes me hunting into the late season before I eventually fill the second tag. And that's because I'm the patient turkey hunter and I'm not the run and gun non-patient hunter. I'll sit all day for a gobbler. So let's see Joe. There's Joe's story. Nice. Well, open. Clicked on it. I'm bringing up Joe Dutiel's. So it said hi. Hey Jason, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for chiming in. So Jason, say hi to Team Quack Attack and Joe Dutiel. Data Monkey, how you doing, buddy? Hey man, me and my nephew need to meet up with you in the fall. We are in Mass. Yes, sir. I think I remember you. I think when I was doing deer hunting content, Data Monkey, didn't I give a shout out to you and your nephew? And I think I mentioned us probably trying to do a deer hunt together and collab, get together for some deer hunting together. Yes, exactly. I remember you. Thanks for coming on. So Data Monkey, Jason, say hi to Jason Dutiel, and if he's still on here, Team Quack Attack, if he's still here, say hi to him. I'm sharing. Hey, Jason, buddy. I'm going live vertically. It hits the shorts feed, so I get more viewers and more likes, more subscribes, more followers, more chatting. I want everyone to know before I get into this story that I do go live long form. I do change my format for my live streams. I use the OBS software. I use a software for my live streams where it looks 10 times way more professional, where I'm blurring the background and where I can minimize my talking head. I could be up in the left corner and I could be showing a hunting scene. I could, on that format where I'm long form. I don't get quite the viewers that I would going live in this format, but at least in that other format that I think next week I'll use my OBS software. I'll be using a different format for my live stream where I'll be able to show real live hunting footage and show what turkey are doing in the wild. Whatever it is I'm sharing and talking about, I'll be able to show in video form or through a photo. And if I was going live in that format currently right now, I could be showing Joe Dutiel's photo. And so you're not looking at my ugly mug. You could be seeing his success story and his photo on the screen if I was using that live stream format. I'm going to alternate it. I'm going to go live like this some weeks, and other weeks I'll go live in that other format. But when live like this, I get way more viewers, more likes, more subscribers, and I get more people chatting, sharing the story, and asking questions, which is great. So Joe Dutiel, if I'm pronouncing that right, you still with us, buddy? Joe, are you ready for this? You can help me out. So while I'm reading Data Monkey's chats here, I'm waiting for Joe to say hi. I want to make sure Joe's still with us before I share his success story. And him and I will help one another sharing his story. I said, yes, he's still sweet. Okay. So Data Monkey says mine. Oh, see, I'm just happy to spend time with him. Oh, that's awesome. Great. Thanks for that, Data Monkey. All right, so here's Joe's story. So Joe was all excited, everybody. This morning I got, what the heck happened? So I get an email from Joe, and look at this, everybody. Okay, I'm going to raise the camera. I'm going to switch view. And look what came in my email this morning, everybody. What showed up? A double bearded gobbler. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. I think you said one was like 9. Let's see, it's right down here. I don't need to say it wrong. I can just read what he wrote. So, yeah, I thought so. One was 8-inch, one was 9-inch. 8 and 9-inch beards. See, the spurs are probably 3/4 inch. Probably a 3-year-old gobbler. This could be a 3-year-old gobbler all day long. That's 9 inches. There's 9 inches there. They grow. Beards grow. Gobbler beards grow about 2 to 2.5 inches per year. But that starts from, okay, but you got to think about this. Now, Jake's at 1.5 years old. They barely have little nubbins. Jake's might only have 2-inch little nubs on them. But it's from that point, after 1.5 years, after being a Jake, after a gobbler isn't a Jake anymore, from then on, each and every year that gobbler's alive, they grow. Those beards grow minimally 2 inches, 2 to 2.5 inches per year, and they're in spurs of 3.25 inch to an inch and longer, and spurs that start to curve a little bit. That's a gobbler that's over 3 years old all day long. That gobbler, this one could be almost 4 years old, but I bet he's at least 3. See, he weighed 16 pounds. But yeah, 3.25 inch spur, 16 pounds. It was 6. Let's see. He flew down. Joe says that he flew down at 60 yards with hens. So he was henned up. I had that same experience. Oh, we don't want to. Oops. I'm not showing you my private emails. Ooh, how's everybody doing? So back to Joe's story. He went on to write more. So, all right. That was a nice bird, wasn't it? From Joe Duty. So he says that I do know in conversing with Joe that he did something really amazing. That really makes me respect Joe very much. So, and that we all need to take this Joe's experience to heart here and use him as an example for ourselves, so that we can be more ethical hunters out there in the field. So we're following all the rules to a T, and we're not being that one rotten egg in the basket, ruining it for all other hunters. Joe met up with a landowner. He scouted his whereabouts. He saw gobblers and hens. He saw turkey. He sought out the landowner. The landowner very happily gave him permission. He got landowner permission to access his property to hunt. And what's equally as cool and unique about this story is the landowner didn't just say, "Yeah, sure, Joe, go hunt." The landowner gave him very useful information. The landowner kind of told him the whereabouts of their roosting grounds, where they seem to always hang in the evenings and go to roost, and where they feed. The landowner told him where they frequently see them at different times of the day using the property. And that helped Joe be very successful. Joe said that he saw 4 to 5 toms in a field, and he asked the landowner if he could go and hunt there. And she said yes. And the landowner, as I just mentioned, did tell him where they roosted. And so Joe, he's come the morning that he was successful, he snuck in the dark crept in quietly, snuck into within 40 yards of where the landowner told him these gobblers and hens seemed to roost each evening. And it paid off for him. As he goes on to say in his email, after fly down, Joe, actually, I have a good question for you. Well, maybe you said it here in your email. Joe, buddy, did by chance Let's see. He's not mentioning it. I don't see it here in his email, but Joe, tell everybody. Let us know. Did you hear any gobbling by chance? Okay. So you left your house, got in your vehicle. How far did you have to drive to get to this location? How early did you have to get up, Joe? Let us know in the chat, and I'll share it with everybody as you type. How early, Joe, did you have to get up? How far did you have to drive? And did you walk in the dark? And you got awfully close to the roost. If you got to within 40 yards of their roost, then I'd say you were walking in the dark. And you must have been able to stay fairly quiet walking in. And by chance, did you hear any gobbles? And do you recall what time of the morning? Was it still dark out when you heard your first gobble? Or did it start, did the dawn start to break? Did it start to get light out before you heard the first gobble? Let us know in the chat. Jason says, awesome, nice bird, Joe. Good ethics and sounds like an awesome landowner. Yeah, I know, right, Jason? I actually, sorry, excuse me, everybody. I almost didn't go live tonight because of this freaking cough. My son and wife had this like 2-month-long cough that wouldn't go away. Now all of a sudden I come down with it. Luckily, I had a successful turkey hunt already. I actually was coughing in the blind. On my turkey hunts, I was muffling it though, and I had deer come by too, my turkey blind, and I had to cough. I coughed and they just like bounded off a few 20 yards and looked back, and they eventually went back to feeding. The cough didn't even scare the deer away completely. It just like startled them briefly, but the deer stuck around with my coughing, and then when they saw my decoys too, my turkey decoys, I went. And that made the deer go scatter in different directions, but not far. And then they calmed back down and went back feeding. They didn't leave the front of my blind. They stayed within 30 to 50 yards, the deer. So I was grateful for that my coughing didn't, if that wasn't scaring the deer away, it wasn't scaring the turkey away, because I did have hens come in and attack my hen decoy. I had a successful turkey hunt with this awful cough. So I think I might have learned a valuable lesson that I could share with all hunters, that doing just that doesn't seem to really bother the deer and turkey too much, all that much. I couldn't resist. I was like a need to cough now moment, and I had deer and turkey nearby, and it didn't scare them out of the area. I still shot a gobble, mature tom at 20 yards, and still had deer feeding out there 50 yards away from my blind while I'm in the blind. But they couldn't. The deer weren't smelling me. They didn't see me, but they were hearing this weird. But so I think I learned that coughing doesn't really scare turkey and deer out of the area. That's cool, isn't it? So Joe, I did that one outdoor kid says, yeah, yo, what up? That one outdoor kid, thanks for coming back on. I remember you, buddy. Joe. And so Joe says yes. Got up at 2 a.m. Drove to, it was the one gobble. So Joe heard that one gobble around 5 a.m. So it was light out. I think legal shooting light is like 4:20, is almost 4:30ish. And Joe heard, so back to Joe Dutil's story, success story that I'm sharing with everybody. He did say that he heard one gobble around 5 a.m. And then, so I do believe, and see, he roosted at 20 yards. Joe says he roosted it. Oh, so the gobbler you shot was 20 yards away from where you were sitting? Am I getting that right? Are we all seeing that right, Joe? See, he says, Joe sat 40 yards where she said they roost. And then that tom he shot is 20 yards from. Oh, yeah. Yes. Sorry, Joe. You wrote it in the email. If I would just stop blapping here and read your email. I would have got the story straight. I'm sorry, bud. Yes, Joe says that he went to where he presumed he was 40 yards from where the landowner said they probably were roosted. But when Joe heard the gobble at 5 a.m., that gobbler was only 20 yards away from him. Joe snuck in really close. He snuck in right underneath a roosted gobbler. That's awesome, Joe. And then, oh yeah. So then it looks like, from what I'm reading, it sounds like the hens flew down. And then I did. So you did you did a covert call. Covert calling is the calling that all turkey do when they're just contentment calling, just a 2-note yelp, really low muff, like the 2 to 3 note yelping and that clucking that a hunter won't hear unless they're within that turkey's bubble. Unless you're within 20, 30 yards of the turkey, you wouldn't otherwise hear those calls, that's covert calling. So it sounds like he did just such thing. He did a very soft, very muted, low couple note yelp. And then and then he said, and he goes on in the email to say that he did a 3/4 strut and he walked within 60 yards. And so when he flew down, sounds like from in your email here, it sounds like the gobbler, when he flew down, you were within 20, 30, 40 yards of the roosted gobbler. It sounds like when he flew down, he was out there a ways, like 60 yards. And so you shot him at 60 yards and killed him, Joe? Are you using 12 gauge shotgun with 3.5-inch shells? What'd you use, Joe, for shot pattern for shot shell? Did you use number 4s or 5s, and did you use 3-inch or 3.5-inch shell? What's your setup? What's your gun setup and your load, if you don't mind me asking? It sounds like you killed him at 60 yards. And 9-inch beard, 3/4-inch spur, 3-year-old mature Tom gobbler, killed at 60 yards. That's awesome. That's a great success story, Joe. And for those of you that are just coming on, for those of you that just joined us, look at this gobbler, everybody. Hopefully everyone's still here. Look at that old boy. So we've got 3.25-inch spurs, 9-inch beard there. All telling me 3 to 4+ year old gobbler all day long. 16 pounds. Nice one. Very cool. So I don't suppose you guys can hear my son and his nephew and his cousin in his bedroom. I was live over a half hour before my family come upstairs. I had it quiet up here briefly, but now my son and his cousin, they're in his bedroom. Guys, sorry for the background noise from my family, everybody. So Joe says everyone that saw that gobbler that I just showed you that was killed, it was by Joe Dutill here, and he says he used a 12 gauge number 6 3-inch long beard or number 5 or 6 shot. Oh yeah, nice. And that worked at 60 yards. That's all. Yeah, so a lot of old time turkey hunters swear by the 6s, number 6. Obviously, if you have a clear, wide open shot to the head, 6s are more than adequate enough. 3-inch shot shell out of a 12 gauge shotgun, 6 shot. 4s, 5s, and 6s. I mean, I've got number 4s here, but I haven't used any of these. I killed my first gobbler this season. I've got another tag. I can't wait to get back out there hunting. I have another gobbler tag to fill. But I filled one of them a couple days ago, and he had beard rot. By the way, my next episode, my next upload on my YouTube channel, my next turkey biology, turkey hunting, turkey in general episode is going to be about beard rot and about aging that gobbler and about beards and like just what beard rot is and all that. That's going to be in. I'm not going to tell all that. Give all that spiel now. That's not what this live stream is about. So all of you will have to subscribe tonight. Subscribe now. Give me a like. Subscribe to Spikes and Gills right now to my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to, and click the notification bell to be notified of that upload. So when I drop that episode later this week, it'll be Sunday night. Actually, Sunday night's episode is going to be about beard rot, about gobbler beards and what beard rot is, and so forth. So some of you are. Oh, let's see. What was I? Oh yeah. What am I reaching for anyway? What I was trying to say was I killed my gobbler a couple days ago with number 5 shot in a 20 gauge. It was 3-inch shell out of a 20 gauge number 5. And I have killed gobblers with number 6s as well. See, Joe says the gun was a Mossberg 930 turkey gun, stock, turkey shot. Nice. Sounds like a sweet setup. Hey, can I have that gun? I'm in the market for a new turkey gun, everybody. I think I'm going to steal Joe Dutiel's. I don't know where he lives, but I'm going to find out. I'm just kidding, Joe. No. Yeah, I want your gun, Joe. Sounds like a nice one. Hey, Jason Gibson, buddy. What's your turkey setup? Jason always sticks it out, sticks with me here on these live streams. He likes to answer questions for me and chime in. So Joe's setup is that sounds. I've been using Joe and Jason and Data Monkey and see who else and everybody on here. Team Quack Attack, all of you guys that are on here. I've been using my old 12 gauge pump action. It's a Winchester 1300 model pump 12 gauge shotgun. I had it hydro dipped. It's that wood stock, the old Winchester 1300 model traditional pump action shotgun with a ribbed barrel. I had it hydro dipped and recamoed and stuff. And I've been using that for eons for turkey hunting. But it's time now to buy a new turkey gun. So see, mainly backwoods date adventure says any bird with spurs under an inch is 2 years old. 1-inch spurs to 1 is a 3-year-old bird, and anything over that is 4 years old. Well, thank you for that. So, yeah. Let's see. So my bird was definitely. I shot a 4-year-old a couple days ago. But anyways, so beards will grow 2 inches. So how see now if they grow 2.5 inches a year, you got a 9-inch beard. There's 1, 2, 3. That's a 3-year-old all day long. So I don't know. That's a definitely debatable, arguable topic for sure. I'll have to do an episode on that. I'll do some thorough background research, listen to some podcasts, and read some literature on that. But I'll be doing an episode about that, about aging turkey. I actually just briefly mentioned that my next episode Sunday night is going to be about beard rot, about aging gobblers, how to age them, and talking about beard rot. So I'll touch on all that, what mainly Backwoods Adventures said on how to age. You can age your gobblers a couple different ways. It's a combination of beard length and spur length, and obviously too when just field judging birds from a distance, you got your hens the heads of your hens are going to be really like kind of drab color, grayish, very light white, grayish, drabby colored. And hen heads are going to be no bigger than your 3 fingers, like that. They're gonna be tiny and skinny little heads. Your Jakes heads a lot of times are more whiter. A lot of white. You'll see a lot of white. They're slightly larger than a hen. But when you're seeing a real big old mature bossy gobbler out there, that head's going to be massive. His head's going to be giant. And that bird most likely is over 3 years old. When you see a gobbler with a head as big as around as your fist, and you're seeing those vibrant blues and reds and whites, and he's and you see the colors changing with his moods. When he goes frost white because he got startled by a porcupine or something, and then all of a sudden he gets bright blue and red. He gets a little white crown and real bright red in his back of his head and neck, and the blues and reds get vibrant. Then all of a sudden he's feeling sexual. He's because a hen. He's back to. He's got his girlfriend in sight. Then all of a sudden he sees. Hears a crow go off or something, and the head goes white again. And so, field judging birds, man, you could pretty much say, okay, hen, head about that size. A Jake's head will be almost same, slightly larger, more whiter, and not as vibrantly red and blue. Jakes can have some. They're starting to get those beautiful blues and reds in them, but more whitish, and but their heads are bigger than a hen's head. But yeah, when you see a head, a gobbler head like that, with reds and blues and white, and yeah, that could be you're probably dealing with a 3 to 5 year old tom out there. If you're seeing that at 100 yards away, you know you got an old gobbler in hand. So May says, spurs are best way to tell age as well as plumage. The black ring on the tail fan is solid in mature birds, and they will have full plumage when they reach maturity. Yeah, I've had yeah. So if you're field judging, as mainly Backwoods Adventures says, everybody, so not only just using the head visual of their heads for field judging gobblers, but also they went on, mainly Backwoods Adventures talks about their plumage too. If you see one strutting a strutter out there, and they just visually that fan, it looks massive, like several feet long. They have a nice big thick black band all the way around the top tips of their tail feathers, and there's no like breakup of the coloring in the middle. It's plainly see that a young gobbler, like a 2-year-old, 2 3-year-old, a lot of times their middle feathers, obviously on Jakes, the two middle feathers are longer than the outer feathers on the tail fan of a Jake. So when once they reach 2 years old, the fan becomes full, like these behind me. Like this one here, this was probably a good 3-year-old gobbler right here. See, these middle feathers met up the black band, went solid all the way around. I've seen them on the 2-year-old gut. See, do I have a 2-year-old tail? That's another 3-year-old. On my 2-year-old gobblers that I've shot, I noticed a lot of times the middle feathers, the band is broken up with different color. I've shot a lot of the Jakes I've shot eons ago, a long time ago. The Jakes I've shot, I've had the coloring in the top parts of the middle feathers have had that colors be white and gray up here, and obviously those two middle feathers longer than the outer edge feathers on the right and left side. You see this band, solid black band, full wide big fan. And I think, oh yeah, that I got his beard. That was a 10-inch beard and 1-inch spurs. The spurs started to get a little curl in them on this bird. That was a 3-year-old gobbler all day long, for sure. So thank you for that, mainly Backwoods Adventures. But on my next episode I drop Sunday night, I'm talking about beard rot, talking about how to field judge and age your gobblers. That's going to be in the next episode. I'll upload Sunday night, so be sure to subscribe to Spice and Gills. Click the notification bell so you'll be notified of future uploads. And when I go live again. So this format, I'm going live tonight in this format. Next week's live stream format will be more long form and more professional looking. I'll be using software that allows me to show you guys real live hunting scenes, real live turkey doing their thing. And so whatever the live stream is going to be next week is going to be about turkey hunting and turkey in general. The next several live streams and uploads on my Spice YouTube channel will be all turkey hunting stuff, turkey, just facts about turkey, just turkey in general. And so I'll be able to next week show you guys real live hunting footage and photos, so you're not seeing my talking head all the time. So see, Jason says, I want to get a Mossberg 500. Nice. Joe says, how old do you think my bird is? So based on what Mainly Backwards Adventures says, they're thinking, they would probably tell you it's 2-year-old. But if your beard measured 9 inches, your spurs look like they're almost an inch long. I think he's 3 personally, but I guess I mean, let's see. When I used to hunt with Sam a long time ago, I remember a guy I used to turkey hunt with like 20 years ago now. I don't want to age myself, but he was calling 8 to 9 inch bearded gobblers 2-year-olds, 3/4 inch spur. Yeah, so I think I remember. So I mean, so Joey probably is just a 2-year-old. He was only 16 pounds. Probably a good solid 2-year-old gobbler for sure. I was jumping the gun a little bit and kind of guessing 3 years old. But his head's not super blocked. Like, how big was his head? I do know that once the gobblers reach 3 years old, 3 to 5 years old, their heads are massive. They're very blocky heads. They're almost as big around as your fist when they get that old, and they get over 20 pounds. And their fans, their plumage is just massive. Their tails are bigger. The older the gobbler, the bigger the fan, the longer the beard, the longer the spurs, so forth, so on. So yeah, it was probably a good 2-year-old. I do know for a fact that my gobbler I shot with a beard rot just a few days ago was definitely 3+ years old. I kept saying 3 years old all day long. He did have an inch plus. I didn't even haven't measured them yet, but they were I took this is over an inch. I do know that. An inch is to about right there on my finger. And his spurs were as long as that, if not longer. I think they were slightly over an inch long, and they started to curve a little bit, the spurs. And what little strands were still remaining after the beard rot. The beard rot caused the beard to break off. And what strands were still dangling were over 9 inches. Were like about 10-inch strands. So I think my gobbler was definitely 3 years old, and his head was bigger than yours in the photo. The head on mine was a lot bigger than yours, Joe, I think. So yeah, I think your gobbler, I believe, is a 2.5-year-old. A great gobbler to take, though. I presume, Joe, you have another tag to fill, so you can go out there and get another one. So let's see. Jason says, how about a gobbler's snood being indicated by its color? White, red, blue. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and the snoods on the older the gobblers too, like they're not as prevalent on a jake. The jakes, those red, whites, and blues aren't as distinct on a younger gobbler. They're not as vibrantly bright, and the snood is smaller. The older, more mature a gobbler gets, the more bossy they get, the bigger, more prominent their snood, bigger, blockier head, a lot more red and blue and more vibrant colors. And the more you'll see if you're watching and observing the older gobbler, and you're sitting in a blind and able to sit back and watch and observe them. A crow will go off and their head will stretch up and the heads will go ghost white all of a sudden. And then once it goes, whatever startled them at that moment. A lot of times that's why they'll shock. That's what a shock gobble is, by the way. A shock gobble isn't a good gobble. Shock gobbles aren't good. Hunters always try to get a shock gobble out of a gobbler, but that's not a good gobbler. That's not a good gobble. That's a bad. You don't want a shock gobble. Means that gobbler probably isn't going to come into your location wherever you. Yeah, you don't want to provoke a shock gobble because he's not going to come in the direction where he heard that sound that made him shock gobble. That's a startled gobble. You startled that gobbler. There's no reason for him to come to your location. You want to get that. The gobble you want to hear is more or less that lovesick gobble, that you want him to like gobble for the right reason, not because you startled him, scared him. So you startle a gobbler. He once was strutting for his girlfriend, and he was very bright red and blue and vibrant and very pretty. And all of a sudden, you startle him, and he shock gobbles, and his head goes ghost white. That's more prominent, prevalent in a more mature, older gobbler. You see, you can readily. That's like a crazy phenomenon thing. That crazy phenomenon. I'm like, did I say that right? It's a crazy thing to witness, see in the wild, but it's so cool to see the color changing before your eyes. And these gobblers, it's like an amazing thing. So, says I'm tagged. Oh, so Joe's tagged out. You tagged. So this, nice. Congratulations, Joe. Everyone, give Joe Dutail a round of applause. He tagged out everybody. I still have one tag left. How many of actually? How many of you that are on here are tagged out already this turkey season? And how many of you are still after? Let us know. So cool. Congratulations, Joe, for being tagged out. That's awesome. So, anybody have any questions? So, like I've mentioned a couple times already, everybody, some I'm gonna alternate the weeks on how I go live, my formatting for live stream. This week, obviously, I'm going live on my iPhone vertically, so because this drops into the YouTube Shorts feed, and I get way more, thousands upon thousands more people are able to see my live stream this in this format. So my viewership will be up. I'll get more likes, more new subscribers in this format. Next week, I'll be going live in the more long form style format, in a different format but I'll be able to, like I've said already, I'm a broken record here, but I'll be able to, in that other format next week, I'll be able to, you guys won't be just looking at me, watching me talk, but you'll be able to see real live hunting scenes and footage and photos. If anyone else emails me a success story this coming week and their photos, I'll be able to show their photo. But probably next week, this photo of Joe's bird I'll probably have up in the software to show everybody. So I may touch more on Joe's story and reiterate the story again next week as well, and hopefully I'll get some more success stories in my email with success photos that I can share with everybody. But in next week's live stream, I'll be able to have the photos overlaid on the screen and some hunting footage and some scenes of strutting gobblers and hens, and maybe also the scene of the hen attacking my hen decoy. And I also want you guys to hear real live hen cutting and yelping and see her beak going as she's going. I got footage. I filmed real live hens cutting, yelping, clucking, purring. I've got real live footage of a hen doing her fighting purr while she's ruffling her feathers and pecking my hen decoy. I'll be able to show all these scenes and show all this, and all of you will be able to listen to the real live vocalizations of the turkey in that other format. Next week, the live stream will be a totally different format than now, but I'll be able to show and share so much more in that other format. So, but I want to every other week switch it up so I can tell all the new viewers. I can catch the attention of newer viewers in this format and tell them I go live every Wednesday nights, same time, 8:30 p.m. Wednesday nights. So mark your calendars, set an alarm on your phone. Set right now. Actually, everyone take out your smartphones and make an alarm for every Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Spikes and Gills live stream. Set that alarm right now on your smartphone. So that way next week you guys won't miss that different format, different format live stream that I'm going to do, so I could share and show so much more visuals. And so definitely mark your calendars, set your alarms for Wednesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Spikes and Gills goes live. Let's build this hunting and fishing community strong around Spikes and Gills YouTube channel. Let's share stories, tips, tricks, answer people's questions. I want those emails to come in. So if I go wildmaineoutdoors@gmail.com is the email. I'm going to go to YouTube and open up the live stream right now so I can join chat with all of you. I'm going to read, hold on, mainly Outdoor Backwards Adventure. I'm going to read your comment there in a second. So go to YouTube. No, I need to go to view my channel. And I'm going to click on the live stream to watch it real time. Come on, ad. How many of you like YouTube ads? Okay, so it won't let me skip it. So mainly Backwards Adventure says, I filled one tag opening day. We had a little turkey tournament that day amongst friends and family. 3 teams of 3 based on a point system just one day, and only one bird could be entered. It was a blast. Sweet. Added a whole new element of excitement to the opener. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So did everyone see that? There we go. Now I'm seeing my ugly mug on my laptop screen. Ain't I an ugly Joe? I gave myself a like. Is that allowed? Is that legal that I liked my own live stream? Mainly Backwoods Adventures says, I killed, so he filled one tag opening day. They had it, did you guys see that? Mainly Backwoods Adventures, him and his buddies, they did a little tournament, opening day tournament. Sweet. That, okay, hold on. What is going on here? There we go. I got to get down in the chat. So so there was 3 teams, mainly Backwoods Adventures, everybody says, that on opening day of the MAINE's 2026 Northeastern Wild Turkey Hunt, mainly Backwoods Adventures, him and their buddies, they had a little opening day tournament that amongst friends and family. There was 3 teams, and they were based on a point system. Oh, okay. So you had a point system in effect for the 3 teams on this turkey hunting competition or opening day, and only for that one day, opening day, and one bird could be entered. It was a blast, and then it said added a whole new element. So tell us who won? Who won the tournament? How did the point system play out, and who did you get first? See, I'm gonna share my email. wildmaineoutdoors@gmail.com. So I put in the chat, everybody, my email, wildmaineoutdoors@gmail.com. So like Joe Dutil and Jason Gibson and those before them and others, can't remember all. There was even someone from New Zealand, everybody, that shared his fishing success stories and pictures into my email. A guy from New Zealand. He's a new subscriber and follower. And he hasn't chimed in tonight. But yeah, I've had people from New Zealand. I've had people from Italy, people from all over the country. I've had people from all over the world join my live streams and send me emails of hunting and fishing success stories and photos. And I gave them a shout out during my live streams. I shared their stories, showed their pictures. So you guys can do the same. Send to my email as I put it in the chat, wildmaineoutdoors@gmail.com. Send your photos and stories. I'll converse with you back and forth through the email to get your story straight, to get your little video clips and photos, and I'll share all that on my live streams, and we'll build this hunting fishing community around my Spikes and Gills live streams every week, every Wednesday night. So yeah, Spikes and Gills. At 8:30. Oh, what the heck? Oh yeah. Yeah. Nice. So mainly backwards adventures. So back to the competition, the opening day competition that mainly backwards adventures had for the he goes on to say, we filmed all the hunts that day. Will be a video posted on Curry's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel soon. Very nice. Okay, so that I imagine we'll be able to if we watch. So mainly backwards adventures said they filmed all the hunts for during that competition among their friends that day, and they're going to be on Curry's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel soon, and we'll be able to see the results. Sweet, thank you for sharing that. And there you go. Got yourself a follower. Curry's out. I'm already up. Actually, mainly backwards adventures. I'm already up on my YouTube channel. So I brought my ugly mug up on my laptop screen. So I had to join my live stream so I could get in the chat. So I could type away. I'm going to right now, while I'm on my laptop, go to Curry's Outdoor Adventures. Curry's Outdoor Adventures. Going there right now. Go to search. Curry's Outdoor Adventures. There I am. Found it. Curry's Outdoor Adventures. Very nice. And they got a lot of subscribers, some really cool videos. I'm subscribing right now, mainly Backwoods Adventures. I just subscribed. I'll even click the notification bell. Put all. So I even click the notification bell so that way I don't miss that upload of your guys' turkey hunts on Curry's Outdoor Adventures. They have over 2,000 subscribers, so almost 500 videos. So they're doing very well. There's a channel that's growing. I'm sure if they looked at their analytics, their channel is going this way, not this way. Like mine is. My channel analytics for my YouTube channel is constantly climbing. It never, ever has once gone backwards. My subscriber count climbs every month. My revenue from my YouTube partnership, from my AdSense my partnership program with the YouTube, it always goes up month. Yeah. So nice. They got some cool shorts. Yeah, let's watch. Okay, so those of you that are still on here, there's quite a few still watching. I'm on Curry's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel, mainly Backwoods Adventures. Just kindly shared their channel because mainly Backwards Adventures was talking about opening days, little friendly competition that they had among friends, and all their hunts were filmed. And these episodes will be uploaded on Curry's Outdoors Adventures YouTube channel soon about the results of that competition on opening day. And mainly Backwards Adventures said it was a blast. I'm going to, right now, before saying goodnight to everybody, I'm going to show you the channel. So here's the channel that everyone should subscribe to. Not only mine. Don't just subscribe to Spice and Gills tonight, but it'd be great if you could give a shout out to Curry's Outdoor Adventures. Give them a subscribe, click the notification bell, just like you did for my channel. And we will watch the shorts right now. Let's turn up the volume. I'm going to give it a like. Nice. I wonder if that was from opening day. Oh, beautiful. Oh, wow, those are nice ones. I wonder if that was from opening day. Sweet. Let's go back. Let's watch another one. What do we got going on here?
You can't. That's a classic spring hunt right there. They don't get any better than that. Ashton just killed his first bird, a big sprinter. Oh, Ashton, more than welcome. You can't.
Nice. That's priceless, right, man.
They don't get any better than that. Ashton just killed his first bird, a big sprinter.
Nice. Sweet. Oh, what do we got here? Nice. Oh, look at that. That's cool. They're into them here, wherever this is. Wow, they're really into the birds. Nice. That was some priceless footage right there, man. Sweet. So Curry's Outdoor Adventures. I love it. I love having experience like that. Being able to, one of my most favorite things to do is like having it. I do that every time I get tongue tied. My tongue gets twisted. I don't know. I'm lost for words. I don't know what I'm saying. I love being able to just capture on video wild deer, moose, bear, coyote, no matter what, porcupine, squirrels, doesn't matter. Like capture them in there, and all the cool behaviors and watch how they interact with one another and just oh yeah, I mean it's priceless. Like being able to get on video, real live deer vocalizations and like bucks fighting, sparring, or a buck breeding a doe or does fight boxing with each other with their hooves, and just being able to like watch and observe wild animals in their natural habitat doing their thing and be able to capture it all on video to use for great like B-roll footage and for me and to use for later future episodes down the road. So whenever whatever it is I'm talking about or sharing with all of you, I've got footage to back it up. I've got real life experiences and video proof to back up what I'm saying, talking about. So that's one of my favorite parts about having a YouTube channel. So okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to my channel so it's easier to read the chat. There we go. Yeah, I want to click on it so I get back in the chat. Because mainly Backwards Adventures just said something. All right, here we go. So they said points were given for first bird down. So back to the opening day turkey hunt competition with mainly Backwards Adventures, everyone. Hopefully, first of all, hopefully all of you subscribe to Mainly Outdoors Adventures. Click their notification bell. And obviously, Spikes and Gills too. Hopefully you subscribe to my channel as well. But so I can't wait to watch the hunts. So Mainly Backwards Adventures goes on to say points were given for first bird down. Total score of all three birds per team. Gave points for filming. We even had bonus points for a random coyote kill. Oh, nice. So, according to what he just wrote here, there was a random coyote kill. I've been stalked by a bobcat during a turkey hunt last year. I got that all on video. That's on my YouTube channel already. That's if you go back in like videos from 2 years ago, if you go to my YouTube channel, go to my video catalog to on Spikes and Gills YouTube channel. Scroll back way back a couple years ago, you'll see a thumbnail with a bobcat on it, and it's a turkey hunting video where I called in a bobcat while I was sitting there behind the ghost blind, and I was being stalked by a bobcat. I captured all that on video. So it sounds like Maine and Backwards Adventures friends. What sounds like one of them shot a coyote during this competition on opening day. There's a story I wrote in Northwood Sporting Journal I wrote for the Northwood Sporting Journal for like 12 years. So I was the on the prowl columnist for the Northwood Sporting Journal for eons. I've got a couple books published too, so I'm a writer as well. I do YouTube videos, write, do taxidermy, I do blueberry farmer, blah blah blah, just whatever. Do a lot. Got a lot on my plate, but there was an interview I did with a guy, turkey hunter around my neck of the woods. One of the stories I shared in my column in the Northwest Sporting Journal was about a guide. This is a registered Maine guide nearby where I live. He gracefully shared his story with me, and I was able to write up the column, the story, and have it published in the Northwest Sporting Journal for him. And it was a story where he sitting up against the trunk of the tree, had his turkey decoys out in front of him. I mean, the trunk of the tree was wider than his shoulders because they say that you should always have the trunk of the tree. You should always sit back on a tree that's wider than you, so you don't get shot from behind. So forth. So it's just for safety and stuff. But in this case, he was obviously attracting wildlife, sitting there calling, doing turkey talk with decoys out there in the field. He had a coyote sneak up behind him and bite him in the dang arm. This poor bugger got bit by a coyote on a turkey hunt. So that, and mainly Backwards Adventures said there was bonus points given for one of the hunters apparently shooting a coyote on opening day of Maine's turkey hunt. So that's cool. So thanks for the sub and shout out. Really appreciate it. No problem. So mainly back. I used to read your on the prowl column all the time. I had a bobcat jump on me 8 years ago in Brooklyn, Maine, while working a bird for a buddy of mine. Scared the daylights out of me. Sweet. Neat. Another fellow hunter that can relate who was stalked by a bobcat. But so this guy says mainly Backwards Adventures had a bobcat jump on them 8 years ago in Brooklyn, Maine. Yeah, you never know what's going to come in when you have decoys out and you're sounding like when you're sounding like food for coyotes, bobcats, and hawks and fishers and things like that, and raccoons. You just never know what's going to sneak in up on you. So that's a cool experience. Yeah, nice. So, anywho's it. So I want everybody to know, well, those of you that are here right now, that I have 2 books. The Sit Spot, Discover in the Forest Near You. This is like a guide into woodsmanship. The whole point of this book is about motivating individuals to run to their nearby forests or hills and mountains to find their favorite sit spot in the woods where they can go often to like meditate, sit back, relax, just be still, quiet, and just take it all in, listen to all the wildlife, and learn and be captivated by nature and learn everything about your surrounding woods by going to your favorite sit spot. And also this book, the whole point of it is to drive people to want to go discover the forest near them. And there's stuff in here about tracking, listening to the birds and the concentric rings caused by the subtle disturbance that we make when entering the woods, so forth, so on. And so the sit spot, Discover in the Forest Near You. The link in the description below for ordering. And then obviously Wild Maine Outdoors, Hunting Tactics, Tricks, and Secrets. Wild Maine Outdoors, Hunting Tactics, Tricks, and Secrets. It's a 5-section book. A section on coyote hunting, fox hunting, bobcat hunting, black bear hunting, and deer hunting. It's a sectional book. It's broken up in sections. It's a great coffee table book. A lot of photos. And I do plan on someday doing a volume 2 of Wild Maine Outdoors, Hunting Tactics, Tricks, and Secrets. That's going to be on moose hunting, bear hunting, turkey hunting, and deer hunting. This is the Predator series, Wild Maine Outdoors, because it's coyote, fox, bobcat, black bear, and deer. Then I want to do another book that's on about moose hunting, turkey hunting, deer hunting, bear hunting. And so the links to order any one of these books or both these books are in the description below all my videos. The PayPal links to order the hard copies. You can also go to, put in the chat right here, you can go to lulu.com to order the ebooks. There are also ebooks. You can purchase the ebooks through Barnes & Noble, lulu.com, and download the ebooks on your Nooks, Kindles, iPads, phones, computers, wherever. Or you can order the books through Amazon. You can go to Amazon to find these books to order them through Amazon, or you can go in the description below all my videos and click on the PayPal links to order the books. And they were in all six Sherman bookstores across the state of Maine. And they were in both non-such bookstores in Biddeford and Portland at one time or another. and I've had them, and they were also in the Old Town Trading Post, and then in another store in Bangor, and they were in my local stores around here. I had these books in my local stores in Bangor, all 6 Sherman bookstores, Non-Such Books in Portland. And they're all obviously, you can click on the PayPal link below all my videos, in the description below all my videos, to order the books, or you can go to lulu.com. I put it in the description, lulu.com, and search the Sit Spot Discover in the Forest near you, or Wild Maine Outdoors Hunting Texture Shoes, to buy the ebooks. Yeah, and also you'll find in the description below all my videos my 15% discount code for the Guard Pro Trail, for any of the Wi-Fi, cellular, and live streaming cellular trail cameras from Guard Pro. Yeah, right there. Guard Pro, see right. Guardy Pro. In the description below on my videos, you can get the link. It's Justin 15 10 84 52 52 or something like that, but it's in the description below all my videos. You copy that 15% discount code and then click on the link, the Guardy Pro website link, to go to their website and browse all their cameras and get 15% off. They're constantly running a site-wide sale anyway. They often do 10-15% off when going to their website, but you can get an additional 15% off with my exclusive discount code, by going to the description below this video and copying that discount code. And they're a standalone trail camera company. They never started out with like rifles, scopes, binoculars, or any other hunting or fishing gear. They always started out. They started as a trail camera company, and they still are a trail camera standalone trail cam company that just has mastered the art of engineering and putting together and building and producing really awesome, cool Wi-Fi cameras that can reach to 3,000 plus feet in wooded areas, 1,000 to 1,500 foot, 1,000 to 2,000 foot range in the woods. You could turn your hunting camp into a hotspot. You need to have a hub, an internet hub. There's a hub that comes with their Wi-Fi camera to begin with. It won't work without that Guardy Pro internet hub, and you can have multiple. You can have a dozen Wi-Fi cameras spread out over your property and your fields and on the edge of the woods, all around your hunting property and around your hunting camp, and they all communicate to this central hub, Wi-Fi hub. And you could turn, if you have a hotspot in your hunting camp, say, you could even purchase an internet hotspot and link up the hub, the Guardy Pro Wi-Fi camera hub, and go put out your Wi-Fi camera, spread out all of your hunting property around your hunting camp, and there's no data plans with the Wi-Fi Guardy Pro cameras. You're not paying no monthly fees. It's whatever you paid for your internet. There's no monthly data plan fees at all with the Wi-Fi cameras. But then obviously the flip side of that, they do have the cellular trail cameras that do live streaming. And you get instant notification from this. When something trips the Guardy Pro cellular camera, you get instant notification on your Guardy Pro app. Then you can click on the live viewing button right after getting that instant notification and watch the deer, turkey, bear, moose live viewing. So they have cameras that do all that. And so you could copy the 15% discount code in the description below the video before going to browse all the cameras on the Guardy Pro website. So thank you everybody for joining me live this Wednesday night. I've been live for over an hour. So I go live every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Be sure to subscribe to Spikes and Gills YouTube channel. Click the notification bell to be notified of the upload on Sunday night. I'm uploading a video. The next upload on Spikes and Gills will be about how to field judge and age gobblers, how to age them properly. And the episode will go over beard rot, and I'm going to be talking about showing real live beard rot in the turkey and the gobblers, and what causes that, and what it's all about now, and about aging gobblers. So that's the next episode. You won't want to miss that. So definitely subscribe, Spikes and Gills, click the notification bell. Thank you everybody for joining me and everybody else live. this Wednesday night. I hope to see all of you back here next Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Thank you, everybody. So it says, Jason says, I had the opposite. I scared the crap out of a bobcat. So I got stalked by a bobcat. Mainly Backwoods Adventures got jumped on by a bobcat. So I'm a lot more aware of my oh, nice. So Mainly Backwards Adventure says, needless to say, I'm a lot more aware of my surroundings now when I'm calling. Me too. Ditto. Hi, me as well. So my buddy Jason says he scared the crap out of a bobcat during a hunt. It's just awesome being out there, isn't it, everybody? So great going out there and develop and strengthening our woodsmanship skills and just learning from the wildlife, from observing wildlife in their natural habitat, and just getting the hunting experience. It's just there's nothing like it in the world. So we're all of us hunters. We're one of a kind type of people for sure. There's not a lot of us in the world. We're a very minute, small minority in the world, obviously. So, but I'd like all of us to get more of you guys, more of you hunters and fishermen, outdoorsmen and women. I'd like to get more of you joining the Spikes and Gills live streams every Wednesday night and subscribing and following along. So thank you everybody for joining this tonight. So set your alarms. Take your iPhone, your Android and iPhones, go to your alarms and set a Spikes and Gills alarm for Wednesday nights, 8:30 p.m. every Wednesday night. An alarm to be on YouTube Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. So you guys won't miss the weekly live streams. So we can all join the chat, see who comes on. I've had people join from New Zealand, Italy, Canada, all over the United States, all over Maine, and other countries. I've had people from all over the world join the live streams, and these are people that hunt and fish like you and I, and they've. I'm gonna share my email again one more time before I go. Wild Maine Outdoors, and these are people that shared their success stories with me through my email and sent photos, and I gave a shout out to them, shared their stories, and showed their pics on my live streams. So there's the email, wildmaineoutdoors@gmail.com. So all of you be sure to send your pics and success stories along to my email. So next week and weeks to come on future live streams, I can give a shout out to you, share your story, share your pics, and you can join the chat. We can chat with one another, ask questions, answer questions, learn from one another. The main thing, learn from one another learn some tips and tactics, tricks, and we can correct one another. I might be anatomically wrong. I might be wrong. I could say something completely off my rocker and be wrong, and you can correct me in the chat. That's what streaming is all about. Build a community, help one another, answer questions. Yeah. So, thank you everybody. Thank you very, very, very much. So I'll see you guys all back here next Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Till then, have a good night. Happy hunting. Best of luck out there. I hope you get a